The what and how of lawnmower parts. William Hovey Smith, 2024. This is Hovey Smith, the Backyard Sportsman. And today we have completed the disassembly and removal of the Craftsman EZ3 lawnmower. Previously, we have had several videos showing its disassembly. And I have just returned from delivering the parts to the scrapyard for a net return of $32 for the excess parts that I do not intend to salvage and reuse. We did do a fairly complete disassembly of the machine, and we'll show you some of the peculiarities and interesting aspects of the parts we removed. Now, I'm going to be salvaging some of these parts for future forgings, and we're also going to be recasting some of the plastic parts as well to make artworks, but that will be in a later video. I salvaged a number of parts to restore my brother-in-law's lawnmower, but the more I tore it down onto the frame, I discovered that this makes a fine workbench for use for tearing down small engines, which you want to do outdoors or on your carport, or if worse comes to worse, in your garage. But it gives you a metal workbench that's small. It has holes in it already for mounting things like vices and grinders. Plus, you can use the larger holes to drain oil from small engines. You have a place to put your stuffs, and particularly on the rear end where you see the upright members. Now, if you're handy, you can really install yourself some drawers in there to keep a few necessary tools. So this was a convenience that I discovered as I worked on it. And you'll see in several previous videos how I actually used it. It's stout enough to sit on. It's stout enough to hold small engines. It's stout enough to withstand some serious pounding if you need to. And all told, something very worthwhile retaining. Right now, I've just got it setting on concrete blocks, and I've got the 2x4 bolted into the rear end to hold it up, which works just fine for me, but you could make this as fancy and elaborate as you like to have it. Aluminum is commonplace, and we see it almost every day in various things. In the case of the EZ3 15.5 horsepower engine that was manufactured by Briggs & Stratton, it's used in a number of components, and most especially in the engine housing here, as well as the transmission housing. Interestingly enough, it's also used for the cylinder and the cylinder linkage. It may seem odd, but aluminum use in gasoline engines has been around since 1906. And the famous Liberty engine, which powered airplanes in World War I, used aluminum pistons. Now, the thing about aluminum pistons is they are not abrasive resistant. They do not stand heat terribly well, particularly at very high combustion temperatures. So it's necessary to clad them, as this one is, with steel components. But the linkages are cast, just like this is cast. Now, you can machine aluminum as well, but it's much more efficient to produce it as castings than it is by producing the same object by machine methods, once you have the dies established. The great bulk of the world's aluminum is now being produced by China. And the U.S. produces domestically approximately 2% of its own supply. There are other sources such as Canada, and bauxite availables are available throughout the tropical regions of the world. But China, using imported bauxite, is the world's greatest producer. Steel and iron are extremely versatile materials. They may be cast, they may be forged, they may be extruded, they may be welded, they may be stamped. And the most expensive method of all is forging. That you don't want to do unless you really, really have to. In these cases, we have pieces of machined cast steel here and here, which are pretty obvious. Then we have steel rod here and here. And we have stampings here that have been welded onto a steel rod. So these are some various fabrications. Now, different alloys of steel perform differently under different conditions. For that reason, there are a very large number of them. Typically, these may contain more or less nickel. They also may contain vanadium or chromium. Vanadium and chromium give corrosion resistance, for example. Nickel provides general strength and also machinability. So your choice of steels will vary from application to application. Yet another application of steel is it may be folded. Here, it started off as a flat sheet of steel in two pieces. Then it was bent in dies into shape and joined together and welded, and now forms the axle as a hollow member rather than being cast solid, and of course much lighter in weight. And you see in the back a piece of bent round stock, and in the front bent round stock which serves as a hanger for the lawnmower deck, and the bottom longer piece is two pieces of flat stock that has been deformed to make a slot so the hanger can be suspended between it and then the parts welded together. And that is a much simpler and cheaper application than forging that bottom hanger. I am a professional geologist who has been in metallic mineral exploration for more than 50 years. And as I worked all the way around the country, from the southeast and the southwest, from Alaska and Montana and Maine, even the Midwest, and so on, it has been more and more difficult to bring mines into development, regardless of where you are. Nobody wants a mine in their backyard. Unfortunately, minerals are where they are, not where you would like them to be, even when they're seemingly in remote parts of the southwestern desert. There are people who will object to you digging them out. I don't care where. But the downside is, since the Reagan administration shut down the Bureau of Mines and also cut the U.S. Geological Survey out of the minerals exploration work, we have been falling further and further behind in producing vital metals that we need as a nation to survive. We import an enormous amount of metals from China. China is the world's biggest producer of the rare earth elements. They're the biggest producer of aluminum right now. They produce much of the steel now used in the United States. and we don't have the resources to either mine it or extract it or refine it, and more are being closed every year. Consequently, we have run out, not because of lack of resources, but because of time and money spent in developing them. So if we're going to approach anything like self-sufficiency in minerals, we're going to have to dig them out of the ground. Lighter weight pieces of steel can be forged to form things like engine covers, and also contains connectors that are thin wire, really, as well as spring steels. Yet another category of steel alloy. And on the bottom are flat springs rather than the more usual coiled springs seen at the top. The great variety of gears here, most of which I believe started off as disc or blanks of the gear's thickness, and then hot forged in dies, and where needed finished off by machining. Now, we also have some other interesting things in here, like the drivetrain. This type of chain was first seen in watches and clocks, and then progressed from there to things like bicycles, and from thence to automotive engines, and it's been with us ever since. Can you imagine making a drive chain for a watch that's scarcely bigger than a piece of spaghetti? People did in the 1700s. Children, mostly. We've spoken a lot about steel and aluminum. Copper also plays a part in this engine. Obviously the copper wires, copper connecting the electrical components, and this is particularly pure copper wire, which was unwound from the generator that was located in the flywheel. Copper plus tin is used to make these bronze bushings. Smaller amounts of other metals like zinc, silver, the rare earths, among others, were used in this machine. Recycle those metals. They're much too valuable to throw away. Hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt. Goodbye and God bless.